Summer officially kicks off tomorrow, but I'm bringing you a rainbow of sparkle and shine today. From sapphires to tanzanite to multi-gem showstoppers, today's edit is bursting with color and it is gonna sell fast, so get ready to shop. Hello and welcome to the Luxe Jewelry Edit. I'm Elizabeth Maneri, and today I am not only bringing you the one-of-a-kind pieces at one-of-a-kind pricing that you have come to expect from me. Coming up in today's episode, I want to make sure you stay tuned because we have a showstopper of showstoppers that is coming up a little bit later. And I have not only some beautiful color, but some really unique takes on colorful gemstones, potentially a gemstone that you do not currently have in your jewelry box. So make sure you don't miss a moment and make sure you are ready to shop, because what does one-of-a-kind pieces at one-of-a-kind prices mean? When they're gone, they're gone. So make sure you get the piece of your dreams when you see it. So we're gonna start today right here. Let's start with all the colors, all the stones, all in one ring, shall we? So you're seeing a pink spinel, you're seeing tanzanite, and you're seeing tsavorite. So you have beautiful shades of that bluish purple of tanzanite, the pink of the pink spinel, and that beautiful, almost a lime green peridot. The way these colors come together, they are not necessarily colors that you would picture going together, but oh my heavens, they are beautiful. In addition to the different colors, one of the design features that I thought was so brilliant about this ring and makes it so unique is you've got different size and shape of stones. So you've got some round, you've got some oval, and amongst those two shapes, you have a varying sizes among the different colors. So it just makes it so they fit together in this really kind of exotic, abstract, artistic way. The other detail that I thought was so beautiful, now the ring itself is set in 18 karat white gold, but when you look into the center of the ring here and you see the prongs, they've chosen to use 18 karat rose gold to hold the stones. And what that is doing in the case of this ring, it's doing two things. The contrast of rose gold and white gold is always going to make the richness and warmth of the rose gold stronger, as well as that cool, crisp shine of white gold even brighter and more brilliant. But also, when you look at the way rose gold enhances and adjusts the color of each of the gemstones, it's making the blue, it's making the green, and it's making the pink so much warmer than it would be if it was just set inside the white gold. So that's a really intentional choice that has been done by the designer, the kind of design attention to detail we only work with here at Gems. That is why you love shopping with me and you love shopping here on Gems Plus, because we are working with artisans, manufacturers, and designers that hold this caliber of attention to detail, not only in the quality of craftsmanship, but in the integrity of their designs. You're getting kind of an abstract, it's almost creating the look of a flower going around the outside, and having that abstract shape for a halo so perfectly accentuates the artistic, exotic way that the stones are pulled together. And you'll see it's a micro pave setting of diamonds going around each side with a slightly larger round stone at the end of each piece. And if you look really closely, you're gonna see a very subtle element of delicate mill grain, which whenever you pair mill grain with that micro pave setting, is it can kind of give the illusion of more and even bigger diamonds. So it is a great design trick, if you will, to give that illusion. It also would help you get a bigger impact of a ring. It kind of gives a bigger visual impact for a lower price point. My first engagement ring, I talk about that a lot, but the setting we did micro pave, there was very, very, very little diamond when I tell you, but pairing it with a mill grain, you would have never known it. So in the case of this ring, if budget is what you are focusing on, you are gonna die, because this is the absolute lowest price that this ring has ever been offered. It takes one-of-a-kind pricing to a whole nother level. This ring is coming in not at $3,500 as it should be, not even at $2,100 as it has been today for me on the Luxe Jewelry Edit. If you shop the link or the QR code or call the number right now watching it from this show, you are going to be able to pick up this ring for $2,000. That's $140 less than even what would normally be our discounted price. So that is your very special kick off the summer. I love you. Thank you for watching the Luxe Jewelry Edit with me. Pricing, it is $2,000, and this beautiful multi-gemstone ring can be yours. So make sure you are clicking, make sure you are scanning if that's how you're doing it, make sure you are calling. This ring is going to go fast. This next ring combines two of arguably my favorite things when it comes to a ring. It's a highly decorated, highly stoned band. So we're getting that low profile that comes with having a band that I love, because I think sometimes it can make it easier to have a lot of bling in our everyday life. It's not always easy or conducive to have something that's really big and high profile in our everyday life. A band like this completely solves that problem without sparing anything when it comes to stones and when it comes to sparkle. We also have multicolored sapphires in this particular ring. Now, sapphires are highly regarded not only because of their rarity and beauty, but they are often associated with things like royalty and strength. But most people don't realize just how many colors they come in. So in the case of this ring, you're seeing a bit of yellow, you're seeing a really deep, rich blue. Now, you've seen on some of my other shows, I've showed blue sapphires that range from that kind of Parisian sky blue, that middle kind of a teal blue. Now this is going all the way to the other end of the spectrum, and this is a deep, almost a navy blue. And then here we have the pink sapphire. Now pink sapphire is a really unique color amongst pink stones because it's always going to give you that really soft kind of baby pink, but you're gonna see hints of purple. So you're gonna see, when you look deeper into this pink sapphire, you're gonna see the richer, deeper, almost darker hue of purple underneath. Now we have a pave setting that is going all around. We've created almost, if you think about a grid. So each stone is framed in its own individual halo. That design detail is absolutely exquisite. To me, the only thing better than a colored stone like a sapphire is when we pair them with diamonds. Because what happens when we pair those two things is you get the color of the sapphire, and that sapphire is bringing its own sparkle, no doubt. But when you pair that with something like a diamond, where you're not really getting any color of its own, but you are getting so much sparkle, you are getting so much light refraction, and you put the two of them together, the colored stone is going to impact the color that the diamond is sort of giving off. And so the pairing, especially in this case, where you have each stone surrounded completely, all four sides with diamonds, the sparkle on this ring, the impact of the color is going to be unbelievable. I want to put it on for you, just so you can really take a moment. I also want you to appreciate the surface space that it's taking. Look at how much of my finger, that's a good 1/2 inch band. And if you look at also the size of the stones, they're pretty substantial. So again, you've got the pave and the diamonds right here. Then you've got each individually set stone. They're all set in a 4-prong setting. This whole ring, I should add, is 14 karat yellow gold. So everything is set in 14 karat yellow gold. And each stone has its own individual halo. It's a square halo with a round stone. Beautiful pairing, beautifully accentuates all the sparkle and allows more light refraction on the stone. You have 1.5 carats. 1.5 carats of sapphire amongst all the stones in this ring, and just shy of 1/2 carat of diamond. So this is a very significant, very substantial ring, but the design details are what really take it to the next level. So this ring, I want to make sure that you are ready to shop when we go into the pricing for this ring, because the deal on this ring is absolutely incredible. This ring, 1.5 carats of sapphire, just shy of 1/2 carat of diamonds, can be yours today. Shopping here with me, exclusive to the Luxe Jewelry Edit. The price is $1,558. $1,558. That is incredible. The stones alone you should be paying more for, much less with the design detail and just the quality and caliber of craftsmanship of this particular ring. To be able to own it and wear it and enjoy it all summer long for $1,558 is crazy to me. And like I said, because it's a band, so it's going to have that bit of a lower profile for you, you really are going to be able to enjoy it every day. You can throw this on with a sundress when you're going to the park. You can throw this on for church on Sunday. This is going to be your go-to ring of the summer. And for $15.58, that is a deal. Now this next piece brings us to the Abigail pick of the day. I mentioned earlier, I still have a showstopper coming for you, and it is worthy of stopping the show. It lives up to its name, and it is an incredible deal. So stay tuned, make sure you are sticking around for that. But up next, I have the Abigail pick of the day. And as per usual, she has knocked it out of the park. If you are new to the Luxe Jewelry Edit, I have a 7.5-year-old daughter with alarmingly good taste when it comes to jewelry. Fortunately, I am able to get one-of-a-kind pieces at one-of-a-kind pricing, because otherwise, her taste would be really, really concerning. But every week I let her go through some of the pieces with me, and she picks out what is her favorite. It becomes known as the Abigail pick of the day. And I love sharing with you what out of the mouths of babes she thinks makes it extra special. And she chose what probably would have been my pick as well for a favorite. She picked this beautiful multi-stone ring, and her reasoning was because she said the shape of it reminded her of a crown. And so when you wear it, it would make you a princess. I mean, just go ahead and order it now, right? We all need a ring that when you put it on, it instantly makes you a princess, no questions asked. So I feel like that's all we need. But I do want to go ahead and give you some of the details, because there are some beautiful stones, beautiful details on this ring. Now, again, similar to the ring that I showed you earlier in today's show, we have got sapphire, tanzanite, and pink spinel. And so once again, we're seeing this beautiful mix of colors. And I think I find the mix so alluring because it is just not colors or even stones that I would have necessarily thought to put together on my own. So a tanzanite, a pink spinel, maybe, but sapphire, I don't think I necessarily would have put in the mix. But when I see them together, it is absolutely incredible. I feel like this bit of the lime green kind of ups the exotic tropical feeling. Your tanzanite and your pink spinel, they're a little bit more of a traditional color. I feel like you put those two things together and it is absolutely beautiful. Now, the part that I think Abigail's picking up on, and I agree, it was the detail that really spoke to me, is the shape of the ring itself. So when you look down on the ring, what is the actual shape that you're seeing? Not just the stones. The stones are round and oval, and much like the earlier piece, they're kind of varying in size amongst those shapes. But when you look down at the ring itself, the shape you're seeing is very reminiscent of a crown, and a crown kind of upside down and then a crown that's upright. I thought that was a really beautiful description, really beautiful observation. What they've done with the design of this is they've put a really beautiful, kind of an antique style micro pave, and they've done some mill-grain work, but they've also done it along the edge. So you're seeing it along the edge as well as in between the stones. And what that is doing is not only adding to the sparkle and the illusion of more stones, which is something that we've become familiar with when it comes to mill-grain, but by putting it along the edge, that's where you get kind of that a little bit antiquier. It takes on almost an heirloom vibe. I always feel it makes a piece look more expensive. I don't know if that's because I know how time intensive and skill intensive mill-grain work is, or if it's just how it looks to me, but it definitely gives the illusion of more expensive. Then you have a fairly substantial diamond right here on the center on each side. So it kind of brings your eye right into the center. They've done a beautiful job of making that the highest point, both on the bottom and on the top. And then once again, they have set this diamond in the mill-grain work, mill-grain, almost like a halo going around it. I want to point out, in terms of diamond weight, we have a carat of diamonds in this ring, a full carat of diamonds, and that is just the accent stone. That is the kind of detail I always talk about here at Gems. When I say our pieces are one of a kind, we are not only sourcing our pieces, and these stones are sourced from all over the world, but they are taking it up a level, right? They could have used half the diamonds in this particular ring and gotten a very similar effect. But when you look at this ring, you almost don't realize what it is about it that's making it so magnificent, making it speak to you in such a rich and exotic way. And it's those little details. It's the willingness to do a full carat weight of diamonds in just the accent stones. It's the willingness to do all of the extensive mill-grain work as you're going around. but we've got kind of a raised basket, and they have continued the diamond work and the mill grain right down the side here. And they've even put a larger kind of focal stone, built it out with a little bit of an extra frame right here. Details like this, when you have mill grain work and diamond work going down the side of a ring, because let's face it, when we wear a ring, for the most part, by and large, what we are noticing is what we look down on. What we look down on, what we see is, for the most part, what is giving a ring its appeal. But at the end of the day, we do see the sides, right? Especially when we're sitting with our hands, when we're talking to people, they are seeing that. And so to have that detail, it adds sparkle in a way that nothing else ever could. I also want to make sure that you just take a moment and take in the color of the stones. You have over 2.5 carats between your tsavorite, your pink spinel, and your tanzanite. Tanzanite is really famous for the fact that it kind of shows 3 distinct hues depending on the way you turn it or the way the light is hitting it at any given moment. And so with this particular stone, the size of it is really going to show you that change of color, that color play, that light play, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Also want to make sure to point out that you do have the rose gold prongs in the center, which is really working to warm up the stones in the ring. So an absolutely beautiful detail. Now, all of those details I just gave you, I'm sure in your mind, especially when you're taking in these side stones, you're adding zeros to the price point. That's what I always do. I look at my pieces first and I kind of go through all the specs on them and I think, okay, there's no way this ring, if I can get them for $5,000, I will be thrilled if I can offer it to my viewers at that price point. That would be the deal of the century. And then I look at the price and it is a fraction of even that. This ring today can be yours for $2,940. Under $3,000. This ring being under $3,000 is insane to me. I looked at it and I thought, I really hope they can get me at like 5 or just under 5. I will be so excited if I can offer that ring for that. No, $2,940, this ring can be yours. So make sure that you are clicking, scanning, calling if that's what you need to do, but do not let this ring slip through your fingers. So hopefully you loved the Abigail pick of the day. If you do not already, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I'm at Elizabeth.Maneri. I give behind the scene teasers of what's going on in the show. I give extra details and features of the pieces that I'm showing. And also sometimes I'll even show how Abigail landed on her pick of the day. All a lot of fun. I love getting to chat with y'all in the comments and the DMs. My favorite thing in the world is when you tag me in photos of the pieces you have shopped from my show. It makes my heart sing. My family knows nothing sends me cheering through the house like being able to share a photo like that. So go ahead, make sure you're following me on Instagram. And when you purchase pieces from my show, be sure and post a picture and tag me of you wearing it. Now this next piece, we're still counting down to the showstopper, so stay tuned. But this next piece caught my eye as we were curating today's collection because it has such a different vibe, not only from the rest of the pieces in the show, but honestly from what I generally gravitate towards when it comes to rings. So our most common gold colors that we're gonna see are white gold followed by yellow gold. Rose gold, which tends to be my favorite and is making a tremendous comeback, kind of having its moment, if you will, and has been for a few years in the jewelry world, would kind of be your next most popular. What we don't often see a lot of, and so it goes quick when we bring it to you, is rhodium. And the reason that it is such a beautiful and unique way to set your stones and to use in metal is because it sort of gives a bit of a stronger, maybe a little bit of an edgier, I have seen it described as an alternative vibe, and I love it. Every once in a while, believe it or not, I actually want to be a little bit sexy, maybe a little bit, I don't know, alluring or tempting, any of those things I don't think anyone would ever really use to describe me. And when you add a ring like this one, it does it perfectly. So this ring is multi-sapphire. So all of these beautiful colors that you're seeing. So you're seeing this sort of orangey gold color. We're seeing it shift down to a softer, almost like a light sunlight yellow. These are all shades of sapphire. Most people don't realize just how many shades a sapphire comes in. I knew a lot of them, but I have to be honest and say before this amazing job, I actually didn't know quite how vast the rainbow of sapphire was. So all of these are sapphires, and then you're of course seeing the beautiful diamond and the refraction of color there. Now when I was talking about setting it in the rhodium, I want you to see this is black rhodium. And so look at how that changes the way even a diamond is playing with light. Now, I say all the time on this show, what is sparkle? What makes a stone sparkle? What is it that we're seeing? We are seeing the way a stone, specifically its faceting and cut, are refracting or playing with light as it hits it. So the key factors are going to be the cut of the stone, the clarity, and of course the faceting. But other things can really impact it as well. The color of the other stones that it's set up against, of course, is going to impact the way the light hits it, but also the color of the metal that it's set in. And in some ways, that's going to impact it most of all because it's surrounding the diamond. So in this case where we've got the black rhodium, I love the way it just gives a deeper, almost a more mysterious look to the stone and to the diamond, especially when I'm going to go ahead and show you the side where you can really see it up against the black rhodium. Now the carat weight, we have over 1 1/4 carat diamond weight across this ring. So that is, we've got it going down the sides, we've got it in the center. I love this raised center line. Again, this is one of those details that you could have left it level with the other lines, but by raising it, we're adding some depth, we're adding some hulk to the ring so that catches our eye, it brings the eye in, it makes it look exquisite, and it also allows for a different degree of light play, which again is just going to up and intensify the sparkle factor, and then it goes all the way down to the other side. Now adding these beautiful shades of orange and yellow with the sapphire just sort of adds to that exotic, alluring, if you will, look. And then I also want to make sure and show you the sides. So you've got some really beautiful detailing going down the sides. In terms of the carat weight on the sapphires, you have 2 carats of sapphire weight across this ring. And the size of this ring is 6 1/4. Now, everything I show you on my show is one of a kind pricing. So it's a one-of-a-kind piece, only like it in the world, and it is a one-of-a-kind price exclusive to me on this show. In the case of rings, it gets even harder to secure the ring that you want because we are also dealing with sizing, which means we literally only have that one ring in that one size. So if it is your size, you are going to want to take action even quicker than you normally do. So this is a good time to remind you in the show, especially if you're just tuning in, when you watch my show, you want to make sure you're familiarizing yourself with the interface you're watching on. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you have subscribed, make sure you have your notifications turned on. You want to be watching this show as close to when it goes live as you possibly can. If you are watching on Gems Plus, you want to familiarize yourself with, you'll see a QR code, you'll see a link to shop. If you are on YouTube, you'll see a link in the description for the show. But you want to be really familiar with that because again, these pieces go fast. And so even taking the time to call or write it down or take a minute to figure out how to use the interface, you want to have that all taken care of so you can be sure and secure the piece. Now, on that note of one-of-a-kind pieces at one-of-a-kind pricing, this ring can be yours today on my show, Luxe Jewelry Edit exclusive pricing for $3,000. The fact that these pieces I'm showing you today are coming in under $5,000 is continually blowing my mind. $3,000 is an insane price for this ring. We are only able to offer it to you at that price because we work directly with the best manufacturers and the best designers in the world. They want to go straight to the customer, and the only place, and a lot of times they trust to do that, is us here at Gems. So me and my friends, the other co-hosts, we get to bring you these one-of-a-kind pieces at prices that are insane. If I were a jeweler, I would be mad that people could access a ring like this for $3,000. But $3,000, call, click, scan, whatever you want to do, but make sure you do not let this ring pass you by. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the showstopper. If you are new to this show, every episode there is one piece. They are all incredible. Arguably, they could all be showstoppers, but there is one piece that we choose for being a little more extraordinary than the rest. Sometimes it's higher carat weight, sometimes it's just a more unique design, sometimes it's an artisan or a jeweler that we just aren't able to get many pieces from often, so it becomes a really big deal when we get them. We also take this ring and it has a higher percentage of mark off than other pieces in the show. So normally we're coming in at 60% off of what a retailer would charge for a particular piece of jewelry. In the case of our showstopper, we are sometimes at 70 and 80% off of what you would pay retail. So it is always an incredible deal and a really unique, one-of-a-kind piece of jewelry. And with that, I give you today's showstopper. Today's showstopper is coming in at almost 7.5 carats. Stop and think about that for a second. 7.5 carats. Like 21-year-old Elizabeth would fall out of her chair at the thought of having that kind of a carat weight on her finger. It is absolutely incredible. 7.5 carats, and it is tanzanite and sapphire. And we are referring to this as a multi-shape ring because if you look at kind of the surface as a whole, let's take first just the shape of the ring, what you're seeing when you look down at the ring. You're seeing essentially it's a dome and a flower, and it is such a beautiful design to be able to create such a perfect design, such a beautiful shape out of stones. I don't think people appreciate how difficult that is. I don't think people appreciate the craftsmanship all the way down to the way each and every stone is individually cut so that it can sit together perfectly in a shape like this, right? Having one stone by itself, you still need it cut well, you still need good faceting, you still need high quality. But that is completely different from a ring like this where you have this many stones all having to be cut to such an exquisite precision that they sit together and form a perfect shape. And everything lines up just as it should. And every facet bounces off one another to create the perfect amount of sparkle. There is a craftsmanship here that I don't even know that I appreciate. And I'm sure I appreciate it more than most, but it is truly magnificent when you see it in person. So you've got the sapphire, and that's this beautiful green. What I did notice about this ring too, and I don't know if it's because of the metal that it's set in, which is of course the 18 karat white gold. I don't know if it's the pairing it with so much tanzanite, the lack of the pink spinel, which is what we saw in some of our other rings today. But the green took on more of a peridot hue in this particular ring. So sometimes we're seeing the sapphire looking more of a lime green. We kind of have more of that lime, I don't want to say neon, but just a softer, more lime tropical green. This is giving a little bit of a richer peridot green. It's really beautiful. And you will see in this ring everything from you've got your round cut, you've got your emerald cut, and then you've got oval cut. And once again, taking those three shapes and putting them together, whenever we can take multiple shapes, multiple stone cut shapes, and put it together in the same piece of jewelry, I think we really notice the beauty of each individual shape. For me personally, in this ring, I don't know that I've ever appreciated an emerald cut quite like I do here. The way they've sort of set these little diamonds and used the prongs to create, if you notice, the illusion of even a higher carat weight of diamond than what you see. We have over a half carat of diamond, so make no mistake, there is diamond in here, especially if you're looking down the side. You actually have slightly larger surface size diamonds. It's not a micro pave, it's a larger size pave that's going down the shank, and it's a split shank band, so that always brings a great focal point to the center. You'll also notice you've got the pave going around two sides of each of the shanks. So again, there is over a half carat of diamond. There is a tremendous amount of diamond here, but a beautiful design detail that they've added on the surface is they've utilized the prongs, not just for their function of securing the stones, but they've used it to add a bit of a design flair and just give more for your eye to look at by adding that metal. As I've talked about, impacting the refraction of light, we're sort of changing the tone. We're cooling down essentially the way the light is hitting these stones. And that is what we're noticing in changing the slight hue. The other rings we saw it paired with rose gold, much richer, warmer, obviously red undertones. Here, by using the prongs that are the 18 karat white gold, we're really able to see the way it changes the color. I don't know about you, that stuff excites me. I mean, jewelry is beautiful, but it also it's magical, the way all of those things come together to create the perfect piece. And I love the idea that there's these designers and artisans and manufacturers that think about all of those things and then make it come together so perfectly in a piece of jewelry. Then they send it here to us at Gems. I get to curate the perfect show, and I get to bring you a ring like this for a fraction of what it would be at a retailer, $4,630 in the case of this ring. You are getting almost 7.5 carats of the tanzanite and the sapphire. You're getting over a half carat of diamond weight, and you are getting just this detail. Look at I want you to take a moment. I want you to really kind of hone in on even just the split shank, the way it curves, because again, this shape is round. So rather than just coming in straight or square, we've got the subtle round, we've got the subtle curvature as it goes even around the finger. Look at here on the side. All of these design details require someone sitting and really thinking it through. Look at the undercarriage, how beautifully. Also, when you see an undercarriage like this, one of the reasons it's done is to help prevent spinning. So if you are a lover of big rings, as I am, one complaint you may have sometimes is that they tend to spin, right? They fall because they're heavy on top, because they're big and beautiful. That's why we like them. But the rings that I'm showing you are all so beautifully and thoughtfully designed. They're anchored by either a split shank or whether it be a heavier basket or undercarriage. So when I'm moving my hand, it's not even moving that much. Those are the design details that you can't even see, you don't even think about. You are getting that value that it would be thousands of dollars more for at a brick and mortar jeweler. But when we work directly with these manufacturers and artisans, we are able to give it to you for a steal. And in the case of today's showstopper, that steal is $4,630. This next ring is a multicolored sapphire ring, but another just beautiful design detail. Sometimes I'm blown away. I think I've seen all that can be done with beautiful settings and stones and jewelry designs. And then I pick up a ring and I think, oh my heavens, I've never seen that. I would have never thought about it before. So in this ring, we've got the multicolored sapphire and we've got them all in a round shape, but we've got a graduated size. And how interesting that looks. It kind of gives a little bit of a modern, it lends itself to a bit of a modern vibe. And yet at the same time, I would say the combination of colors, so where you've got this yellow, you've got the orange, you've got the soft pink, you've got the blue, and you've got the green, those are very traditional sapphire colors. Sapphire in and of itself, I would say, is one of your more traditional gemstones. It's arguably one of the most famous next to diamond. So it's a very traditional stone. We've also added the round halo. And so that again brings a bit of a traditional twist to it. But adding the graduated size of stones is extremely unique. And the incomplete, if you will, circle of the ring is so pretty. I want to really kind of go right into showing this on my hand, because I think a design and a shape like this is really best appreciated when you see it on. I love the way, first of all, one thing you never think about when you look at a shape like this, you are actually getting more stones. You are able to get more stones, translation, more color, more sparkle, in a piece when you have them overlap in this way. Because if they just came together in one complete circle, you would essentially lose these two stones right here, because they would come together, they would meet, and you would lose these two stones. So you're able to get more stones, you're able to get more color, you're able to get more sparkle by having them overlap like that. It also is just really visually interesting. And when we talk about jewelry, and when we talk about what makes it unique, what makes it special, what makes it look exotic and luxurious and expensive, there's a number of factors that go into play on any given piece of jewelry, but sometimes it's just having something different. It's just having a detail that draws your eye in and go, huh, or what is happening there? Sometimes that's all that it is that makes a piece really exquisite. Now, in the case of this ring, I would argue the color of the stones and the beauty and the sparkle of the stones is also contributing to that factor, but the shape is really doing it as well. The other thing I found so beautiful about this ring is it's a bit more delicate than some of the others that I've gotten the opportunity to show you today. Look at how dainty and thin this band is. Now, I know I tend to gravitate, and I show a lot of very thick, hulky bands. I like a raised band. I like a lot of diamond work. But sometimes there is something about a dainty, delicate, traditional band that just goes subtly right into a halo that really is beautiful. It is, I guess maybe because it's so traditional and we tend to see more over the top abstract things, something about it becomes very, very unique and very, very beautiful. Now, I want to give you the stats so you know what it is. We've got just under 2.5 carats of the sapphire. So combining all of those colors, we have just under 2.5 carats. We have over a 1/4 carat weight of diamond. Now, the only diamond you're seeing is in the pave going around the halo of each of the stones, and we've got over a 1/4 carat. So that is a lot of diamond, and that is why, whether you realize it or not, that is what you're seeing in the sparkle. That is what is making it so brilliant, and that is also what is contributing to why the sapphires are so sparkly. There is a lot of diamond weight in each of those halos. Whether you kind of see it to the naked eye or not, there is a lot of diamond weight. So having over 1/4 carat in just accents in a halo is very significant. It is all set in 14 karat yellow gold. The size of this ring is a 6 3/4. 6 3/4. So if that is your size, you want to go ahead and jump on it. It is actually perfectly my size. So, you know, this might be in the runnings for me as well, but 6 3/4 is the size of the ring. If you are not that size on your ring finger, always remember, generally speaking, and I'm always careful when I quote this, but generally speaking, your fingers will go up about a size. So if this is a 6, or in my case 6 3/4, you're kind of going to go up a size with each. Your pinky is going to go down a little bit more significantly, actually, and then of course your thumb, but size 6 3/4 is what this ring is. This ring is coming to you today for $2,384. The number of rings that I have for you today that is under $3,000, when I look at them, I would never in a million years think that that was the price point. That is the beauty of shopping directly with me here on the Luxe Jewelry Edit. We are able to work with the manufacturers, work with designers, work with artisans from all over the world. We bring you the rarest, we bring you the most unique, we bring you the highest quality, and we bring it to you for prices that if you could find something this magnificent in a store, which I would argue you couldn't, you would be paying 60, 70, 80% more. So this ring, again, just shy of 2.5 carat of sapphires, over 1/4 carat weight of diamond, set in 14 karat yellow gold. It is a size 6 3/4. You can have it today for $2,384. Click, call, scan. If you are on YouTube, another great chance to remind you, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you have your notifications turned on. These deals do not last long. I am always so stunned when they tell me we have hit our final piece of the show, but here we are. Let's keep this fun going. Find me on Instagram at elizabeth.maneri. Let's chat about the pieces that we've seen. I will send you some teasers, some behind the scenes, maybe even a little bit of what's coming up in a future show, but let's keep this party going on Instagram. And let me show you this last piece, because I don't want to say I saved the best for last, but I love this ring. So this ring, we have blue and pink sapphire with a oval diamond. So blue sapphire, pink sapphire, and diamond. First, let's all just take a moment and appreciate how beautiful each of those stones is in its own right. One of the things that I think is so beautifully done on this particular ring is, even though it is a multi-stone ring, so they have combined multi-stones, sometimes when we make a multi-stone ring or piece of jewelry, the beauty is really in the combination of the stones together. Take, for instance, today's showstopper. While each of the stones is, of course, beautiful in their own right, really the emphasis, the focus, what makes it beautiful is the overall way they're coming together. There's an overall design that is truly what is the focal point of that particular piece. In the case of this ring, yes, we have a really beautiful overall design of the ring that, you know, when you're looking down, what you are going to see looking back up at you. But they have also really made sure to allow each of these stones to have sort of its own moment of glory. They are allowing its true beauty, its true brilliance, the rarity. Colored sapphires are just some of the most beautiful and exotic stones in the world. And they have really given them their time to shine. And I love the way they have designed the ring this way. So again, here we have our diamond, we have our pink sapphire, we have our blue. It is all set in 14 karat yellow gold. That is the perfect amount of warmth for the color of these stones. We have the diamond halo going around. I do want to take a moment specifically with the pink sapphire and just let you look at the particular shade of pink. Now, sapphires come in a wide range. I mean, truly almost a rainbow in and of themselves of colors. But even for each individual color, take blue, take pink, there is a wide range of colors that you are going to see in each of those individual colors in a sapphire. That is part of what makes them so highly coveted and regarded around the world. But I am loving the pink. That is what really drew me in on this particular ring. This is a pink that is taking you almost into the family of ruby. We are really seeing those red, bit of almost hot pink, you could describe it. When you look deep into its center, you're seeing almost a rich cranberry. So we are really tiptoeing on the side of ruby with this particular color. Versus other pink sapphires I've showed you today, we're seeing that softer, that baby pink. It's almost more looking like a morganite or a pink spinel. This is leaning more towards that ruby. When we look at the sapphire, this is what I would call an almost quintessential London blue sapphire. It's not that soft powder sky blue or that Parisian blue, and it's not its darkest, deepest navy. Now, when you look into the depths of it, you will definitely see some of that deep navy, but this is arguably the most famous. They kind of call this the royal blue sapphire. So London blue sapphire, this is a really, really beautiful shade and a really great representation of that stone. And of course, a diamond speaks for itself in terms of its sparkle. In this ring, we have just shy of 2.5 carats between the pink and the blue sapphire, and we have a ½ carat weight in the diamond. Again, it is all set in 14 karat yellow gold. The size on this ring is 6 3/4, which is perfect. That means I can show it to you. And I want you to take a moment because, again, a unique design like this is really going to show best on your hand. I want you to take a moment and take in this split shank design, really drawing your attention, and then this beautiful pave band. Now, I say pave because of the way the stones, how deep they're set in their prongs, but they are large stones for pave, and that is, again, why you're seeing so much of the sparkle. So I want to be careful when I say pave or micro pave, that sometimes that really, you think very, very, very small stones. These are almost, you could say, individually deep set or deep prong set diamonds. But overall, it's giving the illusion of pave, especially with the halo. So that's how we'll describe it. But I want to make sure you know that they are definitely significant size stones, which is giving you a lot of light and refraction and color and sparkle. This ring is coming to you today for not $7,000, not $6,000, not even $5,000, which is crazy. It is coming to you today if you shop with me, a Luxe Jewelry Edit exclusive, $4,784. And that brings our time together today to a close. I can't believe it. If you found a piece that you love and you cannot live without, be sure that you are calling, clicking, scanning, whatever you need to do. These are one-of-a-kind pieces at one-of-a-kind prices. They do not last long. Thank you so much for spending the time with me. Remember, you are never going to regret a beautiful piece of jewelry in your jewelry box. You will always regret the deal that got away. I'll see you soon.